The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
You know, I think that one of the things we're going to see in the 2012 presidential election is whether one of the Republicans stands up and says, I disagree with Obama on taxes, on the size of government, and some foreign policy issues, but he's as much American as I am. And you know what the problem with this election 2012 is? They won't say that. They ought to just say, he's as much of an American as I am. Let's move on to the issues.
The question of Obama's birth, where he was born, is an important question. But the more important question is whether or not he is a natural-born citizen because he was born in Hawaii. The conventional wisdom is that if he could produce a birth certificate showing that he was born in Hawaii, that would make him a natural-born citizen. That's not true. That only makes him a citizen by birth. And there's a distinction between the two terms. A citizen by birth is a person who becomes a citizen because he was born in the geographical limits of the United States. And he was here lawfully, or his parents were here lawfully, and therefore, by birth, he's a citizen. Now that's because in the first sentence of the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution, it states specifically that a person who is born in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof is a citizen. Now, most people think that's a definition of a natural-born citizen, but people forget that that was put into the Constitution not for the purpose of defining what a natural-born citizen is as it applies to the President of the United States, but it was placed in the Constitution for the specific purpose of declaring that people who were part of the newly freed slave class were citizens of the United States and of the state in which they resided, because the United States Supreme Court had ruled in the Dred Scott case that a person who had been brought over to the United States against his will could never become a citizen of the United States, much less a citizen of the state. So the place of birth that gives rise to citizenship by birth was addressed to the question of what to do with this entirely new group of people who would otherwise be stateless because they couldn't, under the Dred Scott rule, become a citizen having been born in the United States. Now, natural-born citizen in relationship to the office of president and whether someone is eligible was in the Constitution from the very beginning. The 14th Amendment definition of citizenship by birth was not addressed at all to the question of one qualification to run for President of the United States. Even the language is different. It talks about a natural-born citizen. Well, what is a natural-born citizen? Well, another way of putting it is there is a law of the nature of citizenship. If you're a natural-born citizen, you are a citizen according to the law of nature, not according to any positive statement in a constitution or in a statute, but because of the very nature of your birth and the very nature of the of nations and your relationship to the nation as a citizen. So what you have to do if you want to find out whether someone's a natural-born citizen is go back and look at what the law of nature would be or would require in order to be a citizen by birth. And that's precisely what a natural-born citizen is one who is born to a father and a mother, each of whom is a citizen of the United States or whatever other country that they're claiming natural-born citizenship in. Now, what we've learned from the Hawaii birth certificate is that Mr. Obama's father was not a citizen of the United States. His mother was, but he doesn't qualify as a natural-born citizen for the office of presidency.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.